Regressor of the Fallen Family, Chapter 56. Hey, you. Choking sounds. How dare you, a slave, act so impudently? What? No matter how much the young lord favors you, heavy breathing. A slave should know their place. The enormous man's face looked like he would pass out from lack of breath as he started trouble with Victor. With an incredulous look, Victor glanced back at the large man, and then turned his head towards Kai. As soon as Kai sighed and nodded, pow! Victor's fist buried itself into the man's belly. Ah, ugh! The large man doubled over, barely able to groan. Shut your foul mouth, you lump of flesh, or next time I'll twist your waist backwards. A soft voice clearly echoed around. And as Victor turned to look around, the trainees hastily averted their eyes, causing Logan to let out a smirk. This brief incident confirmed something. There was a second reason for bringing Victor. This will be smooth sailing. Now that Logan had begun earnestly building up the family's military might, Victor was the most reliable card to wield that power. Feast to your heart's content. Just don't let it interfere with the next training session. After the brutal training session, a feast of simple foods awaited them, bread and soup in abundance, though there were no fine gourmet dishes. Wow, the best. Look, there's even meat in the soup. For the mostly pauper-born trainees, it was a feast like no other. They marveled even at the small bits of meat and the vast quantities of soup. The trainees began to devour mounds of bread and soup piled on their wood utensils, the stress from the first training session melting away, and then eat plenty. With a bow, among the servants distributing the feast, was a small blue-haired girl who looked to be about 10 years old. Her devastating cuteness captured the hearts of many. Is she an angel? So cute. Look at her eyes, they're so pretty. Many trainees felt a warm breeze in their weary hearts, soothing themselves with the thought that they'd made the right choice becoming soldiers. Of course, the girl was older than 10, but her appearance was truly that of a young child, and the trainees found it endearing. I want to pinch those cheeks. I want to kiss her. Some expressed excessive affection, but then, bang! Turn your eyes away before I gouge them out. With blue hair and heterochromatic eyes similar to the girl's, a boy's threatening voice deterred them from any further action. The training for the soldiers seemed to be progressing without a hitch. And training continued, designed to test the recruits' mettle and perseverance. Enduring simply forming lines and columns for 12 long hours was torturous, yet it served as a test of extreme endurance, breaking down the soldiers. However, most recruits came from families who struggled to survive, and for them this place offered a warm bed and sufficient food, making it a place they could never give up easily. Thus, there were hardly any dropouts from training. Is it tough? No, sir. If it's too hard, you can give up. Go home and rest. No, sir. I like your attitude. Now, 2 more laps. Did I hear no reply? Yes, sir. Even during grueling training, the eyes of the trainees gleamed fiercely. Even the frail ones, staggering on the verge of collapse, gritted their teeth and completed the training. The basic physical fitness of the trainees seems to have been established. Already, they are well fed and rested, and as you ordered, daily showers and hygiene management are in place. It's only natural they progress swiftly with such luxurious training. Pleased with Kai's report, Logan nodded. Any troublemakers? They're getting used to the training, so if there are any, they'll stand out soon. Right. At this stage, it'd be nice if one stood out. You mean as an example? Yes. It'll make things easier going forward. It would. The two shared a smile, having devised the grueling training. Indeed, there were troublesome elements among the trainees, but not quite as they'd expected. The expression, lacking common sense, describes someone who lacks the basic decency expected of any person. Although it's not common to find someone truly devoid of such basic concepts, there are a few whose behavior qualifies them as lacking all common sense. Most people would refer to these types as mad, evil, perverse, or trash. Cowell, who came from a village near the southern mountains close to McLean Castle, was such an individual. His main problem was his perversion. He was sexually attracted to young girls. His decision to join the cadets was to avoid being driven out of his village for his deviant behavior. To Cowell, even young Victoria, who appeared to be no more than 10, was just a girl. Moreover, here, there was no father to discipline him, no village elders to admonish him. She's just a kid, right? She's a girl. Mad! You know she's that monster's sister, right? If it goes well, it's good for both of us. And what can that scrawny little monster do to me? Can't you see my size? You've really lost your mind. Laughing off his friend's comment, Cowell proceeded to carry out an action he'd been considering for weeks. Who's there? How about you come over there with me for some fun? As the burly man blocked the way and uttered something strange, Victoria instinctively recoiled. But then she remembered that showing fear only encouraged such men, and she tried to appear bold. What? What are you talking about all of a sudden? It's nothing much. Just that we could be friends who take care of each other. I don't need that. My brother takes good care of me already. Ah, Victor, I know him. But what's wrong with one more brother? I don't like it. I only need my one brother. Now please step aside. Despite her fear, there was no hesitation in her clear voice. That resolute attitude is mistaken by the pervert, as her zeal for a pure heart ignites a flame within him. What did you say? Please let me pass, mister. Victoria's loud plea snaps the remnants of Cowell's restraint. Mister? Is that what you call me? Slap. Ah. Oh, whoops. Sorry about that. That's because you didn't listen to your big brother. Cowell smacked the child's cheek and rambled as though it was a genuine accident. But to Victoria, who was now terrified of him, he was nothing but fear incarnate. I don't want this. Frightened, Victoria retreated while crouching. In this state, many would feel compassion and pity, but Cowell, devoid of the rationale, was merely excited by her reaction. Yeah, that's right. Keep still, just like that. At that moment, there was the sound of ripping fabric. The pervert Cowell, eyes ablaze with twisted desire, shimmered with an even more dangerous aura. You son of a bitch! Smack! Ugh! A forceful shout followed by a sharp impact thrust Cowell's massive body across the air. He crashed to the ground, and before he could recover, a merciless beating continued. Die! You filth! Smack, crack, snap. How dare you?
How dare you?
Amidst the blood and foam, Cowell, now a pitiful, pleading mess, could do nothing to quell Victor's raging fury. Go to hell! By the time Victor's thoughts cooled, Cowell's body was too mutilated to resemble anything human. What? Upon hearing the news of Victor's actions, Logan was noticeably shocked. Had the Noblaic slaughterer's true nature burst forth? But understanding the reason clarified his perspective. Is Victoria okay? Not hurt? Yes. She's a bit shocked, but her health is fine. And Victor? We've locked him up for now. Annoying. That wasn't the trouble I wanted. At Logan's words, Victor could only offer a strained smile. Cowell's crime is clear, but Victor effectively killed him. Moreover, given their current statuses, Cowell as a civilian, Victor as a slave, it complicates things. Customarily. No, that won't be an issue. Yes? Well, everything seems to have worked out for the best after all. Let's go see him. Logan strode off with a smile, Victor trailing behind him with a puzzled look. In the deepest part of Teslan Castle's dungeon, reserved for the worst criminals shackled with chains, there sat Victor. Screech. As the door opened, Victor peered through the dim torchlight in the direction of the noise and saw Logan approaching. His fiery gaze dimmed as Logan drew near and finally settled to the floor as he stood before him. I apologize, young Lord Logan. Do you regret it? Never. I do not regret it at all. Then why apologize? Victor hesitated briefly before replying, I killed your soldier without permission. I apologize for that action. Is that so? That's not entirely incorrect. But in my view, you should be regretting something else. I definitely do not regret it. That scum was going to. Bring your sister here. Excuse me? Don't you see? Your stubbornness nearly ruined your sister. You can't just keep her close and protect her. That's the lowest form of care. But if I had always been by Victoria's side, she never would have had to face that bastard. Are you planning to spend every hour of every day with Victoria? Even when training? Even in war? That's not possible. Unexpected dangers can arise anywhere. A place teeming with testosterone, sharp weapons, and young men may have been somewhat predictable. Rather than bringing her into potential danger and struggling to protect her, it would have been safer not to bring her at all. The reason I allowed you to bring Victoria was for you to realize this. Logan felt a twinge of guilt, having not anticipated such an extreme situation, but Victor needed change. Do you understand? After a moment of silence, Victor grudgingly nodded. For now, this will do. Knowing that this incident will slightly ease his overprotectiveness, Logan nodded back with a smile. Good. Come with me, young Lord Logan. Ignoring Victor's alarmed cry, Logan unlocked Victor's chains with a key. Click. With the chains removed, Logan pulled Victor to his feet. It's true you've committed a crime by killing a man, but today you did well. Really? Just make sure to get my permission next time. I don't want my future knight caught over something so trivial as a disgraceful pervert. Yes. I'll bear it in mind. Victor's face brightened once more, but beside them, Victor had to interject in disbelief. Young Lord Logan, you've said that our ruler must set an example. That's right. And wasn't that just days ago? Yes, did I say something contradictory? A slave has killed a civilian. If we just dismiss this. Victor is my property, right? If I use my property to kill a criminal, what happens then? That would be... Oh, I see. Victor finally understood and nodded. Victor, too, looked back at Logan with a new perspective. Yes. According to me, Victor killed him. Hang his head outside the castle gates with a statement of his crimes, and especially warn the soldiers. Understood. Logan slowly exited the dungeon, followed by Victor and Victor. In the back, Victor looked at Logan's back with a complex gaze. Cowell's sudden death shook the soldiers, but the effects quickly dissipated when word spread that Heaven's Angel had been Cowell's target and that he had died for it. The bastard deserved it for even thinking of touching our angel. He got what was coming to him. If he weren't dead, I'd have killed him. You? What? You think you could have done it? No, we would have. As the stress affected Victoria, causing her to avoid others, the anger at Cowell only intensified with each passing day. Rhea, are you okay? Can your brother come in? Sorry. Damn it! Victor cursed inside as his sister's weak voice conveyed her refusal even to meet with him. Let off that scumbag too easily. Thud. Rhea, sorry, brother didn't mean to hit the wall. Apologizing to a wall for an unintended punch, Victor couldn't fathom how things had come to this. Confusion continued to build up about how things had come to this point. Well, rest well. Victor, not confident in staying in that spot any longer, turned away promptly. Despite his young age, the siblings had relied on each other through the hardships of their lives, from the death of their parents to their life as slaves, leading up to the present. Now that everything seemed to be settling down, something like this had to happen. If he had arrived even a little later, he couldn't help but think about how things might have turned out. No, that's not it. There was a more fundamental issue. The words of the person who had the most significant influence on him in recent years echoed in his mind, painfully piercing his heart. Taking a girl to a military training ground dominated by men? Just blindly tagging along and protecting her isn't the solution. Recalling these words, which had profoundly impacted him in the past few years, deeply hurt his heart.